Okay, yeah, so I'm recording now. So now, let me clear this chart. And so let's look for more examples. Do you guys understand this example that I explained last year? Huh? Do you guys understand the last example I made?
Bro, the POI part I didn't understood how it rejecting from that area. I understand the fake supply or the fake demand actually, but
Yeah, the old flip is now, this is the old zone that I analyzed that has a smart money reversal. So that point has become, and you can see this week to week that got unmitigated below it. So that old zone has become your point of interest for the next push to the upside.
boss, the stop loss
So,
should be
and
very
there's
big.
something about POI that you guys need to know. I used to tell everybody that the point of interest that gives you the clearest, the clearest candle that you are looking for, that is what you should use. Like now, looking at this time frame now, you guys can see how clear. Why now? Mute yourself. Ah.
Wọ́n lè máa ń rẹ̀ kúrò tí ló kọ pàtẹ́ bí pé wọ́n bèrè ní gbogbo rẹ̀ máa rẹ̀ tó kátọ̀ sí.
You guys see that all this thing is a little bit frustrating for real. So let's continue, guys. So now, looking at this particular time frame that I have right now, you can see this OPR. It is very, very clear. All this old price action, you can see they took out this guy right here. They broke structure. Some people want to sell from this guy. Market got there, reacted, then it took them out. So you can see how clear this price action is. Now, let me teach you guys a simple trick that you need to know. And that trick is actually what I call no, don't let me teach you that right now. So let's look for much more example. So I'll be explaining that in the next class. Let's look for more examples. Let me go to 15 minutes. Let's look for more examples. So now, as for what I explained now, using what I explained to now pick a potential area that the market is going to trade from, let me now show you. Looking at this price action, we have a high to this low, a high to this new low, right? But this is the last point that took out this high, which makes this guy a rally base and a rally, right? So inside this base now, let's now investigate it. Let's investigate that base. Let me go to 10 minutes. If we investigate this base, you can see when the market got to this supply right here, when it got to this supply zone around here, you can see that they changed character to the bearish direction. You can see that they broke structure right here. So breaking this structure right there has made this guy a valid zone for me in the future when price gets here. So which means this guy, this is where the break of structure happens. So this break of structure, if we now draw my fib from this low, to this high, you can obviously see that this guy is an incomplete pullback. So being an incomplete pullback, that makes this guy my liquidity. So this being my liquidity, that simply tells me that in the future, I want market to get here, give me some sort of confirmation whatsoever, then I'll buy. I'll buy to wherever I need to buy to, following the order flow. So you can see, like, me knowing that market will clear this guy is as a result of me knowing the fact that there's an incomplete price action here that has a rule of what I trade, because this guy is a high that created a low. This reaction is a base that violated this high. And this base is a valid base because it has a smart money reversal. So that is why this base validates this external liquidity for me. So which is why when price gets here in the future, I will look to buy. And it has a very high probability that it is going to hold. Now, let's now use what we explained how to break this down again. We have, I'm coming, guys. We have a high right here to this low. We have another high to this low. Now, market is approaching to clear this guy. So how are we going to get in on this trade? As at now, looking at this price action, we have a low to a high, a low to a high, a low to a high, a low. Now we are about to have a high once this guy got broken. Is there any inducement yet? No. So there's nothing that broke structure to the downside and break to the upside. So as at this point in time, before I can sell this guy, I can't just sell blindly from here. I can't. Because everything that I'm seeing here is a clean bullish order flow. So I know that inducement needs to be done. So for an inducement to be done, I'm expecting price to go here, break this structure now, then go back up. So after going back up, then the violation of it back to the downside, that has told me that I can sell this guy. But if I don't want to wait for this whole thing to happen, all I just have to do is what? Once I get my inducement, after this high has been taken care of, then I'll use my rule of what? Some people see this as a valid supply. So now I would wait for market to give me what? An inducement right here, a base, clear it out, then flip it back. So once it flipped it back, after it has caused an inducement right here, then I can sell from here to target the low. So there are two ways I can go about it. It's either I wait for this guy. Let me redraw it again. Let me come again. I want to slowly explain it. Should not be like I'm moving too fast. So now we have this. The entry checklist number one is market gets here now. It breaks structure down right here. So after breaking this structure, some people want to sell from here. So as for me, a rally base and a rally. But I am looking for sell. So which means I'm waiting for this base to get flipped back. Once it gets flipped back, then I can reclaim it and sell off. That's the first criteria, right? The second one can be as a result of ABC, right? Which means markets can come here, react, break structure, now take out an external liquidity, then sell off. That is the second criteria. The third criteria is for what? Is for more conservative person, whereby you wait for this break, you wait for it to get manipulated, and you wait for it to get manipulated again. Then you sell off from what? From here. So, but everything depends on what the price is printing. So now, I'm sure at the end of this session now, you guys will be able to understand demand and supply area. You'll be able to understand it clearly. So our next class is where we are going to be talking about order block. So once we talk about order block, I will come back into some of these things in a much more advanced way for you guys to be able to understand the whole thing. But remember, the last week will be where we are going to be adding everything together. We are still going to talk about session. We are still going to talk about order confluences, liquidity. We have not talked about liquidity. We've not talked about session. We've not talked about session time. Time, normal time, you get. We've not talked about time. So we still have a lot of things. So after all these things together, you guys should not panic. I will now teach you how to add everything together. Yes, I will always talk about money transfer. Do you get? Because money transfer and order flow is what I will be using to explain everything. So in everything, that once I get to the order block now, the reason why I'm showing all this is I'm assuming you guys don't know it, which I'm sure even people that feel like they know it before, they have grabbed new things entirely. So, which is some of the key things that you might take home is the break of structure. Even if you have two break of structure, the type of break of structure matters, because you can have a break of structure like this. A, B, C. Like I explained. And you can have one that, so I've explained it, you can go back to the video again. So in the next session, we're going to talk about we're going to talk about liquidity in length. So then we are going to be seeing this in a much more advanced way. And in the next session, I want you guys to remind me that I want to explain how a valid violation candle will look like as a single candle, even without investigating it. Even without investigating it, there's a particular candle that once I see it, I know that it is a valid base. Okay, so I'll be explaining that. So that is that about that for tonight. So thank you guys for coming, and I'll be sending the record to you guys. So thank you. Okay, so falala. How will I end this one like this?